Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every Sunday, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Ocean's 11.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me all the deets on this movie.
Okay. Ocean's 11 came out in 2001, which actually is a lot longer than I thought. 21 years ago. Many years before you were born. It was directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by George Clayton Johnson, Jack Golden, and Harry Brown. Some of the main stars are George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts. Did you know any of these stars?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. And here's some cool facts about it. It's a remake, so this isn't the first one of it, from a 1960 movie with the Rat Pack. Do you know who the Rat Pack is?
No.
You know Frank Sinatra, though, right?
The singer dude?
Yeah, and so he was in the Rat Pack. He actually played the main character in that movie. And there's been 3 sequels since. Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, and a kind of a sequel of Ocean's 8.
Do you think that Ocean's 11 is more well-known than the original?
Than the 1960s one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially now, 1960s, we're looking at 62 years ago, so
that's
maybe
true.
Most people don't know about it, but I saw the original. It was pretty good. I like this remake better, but I did like the original. It was pretty good.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you about what I thought about it now.
Okay, I should have asked you, but yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
I thought that the beginning was pretty slow, actually. I thought it got more exciting when the whole heist actually started happening, but I felt like it was really slow in the beginning. I give it a rating of 3.5 stars.
Out of 3.5?
Out of 5.
Oh no, it's a 5-star for sure. It's a good movie. You're right, it's a little slow in the beginning, especially as we're meeting all the characters, but I love the heist. Did you feel that you got tricked in any way? Did you feel that you fell for anything they were trying to do?
I didn't think so. I was a little annoyed with the whole love romance thing. I thought it was a little unnecessary.
Okay, let's see. We'll get to that. All right. Why don't we get to the recap? All right, excellent. So we start off the movie with George Clooney's character, Danny Ocean, in prison up for parole. He obviously gets out because in the next scene he meets an associate, Frank, and he talks about a possible heist in Las Vegas.
I think that Danny Ocean isn't the most original name they could have come up with. Like, I doubt that's very realistic, but okay.
Did you think it's like a cool, hi, I'm Danny Ocean?
No, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, maybe. I think that I'm almost sure. I'd have to look it up. But I think the same character's name was from the 1916 version. So maybe someone in 1958 or 59 when they made the movie really thought Danny Ocean was an awesome name. I don't know. Next we meet Russ, Brad Pitt's character, in a nightclub where he's tutoring famous young actors how to play poker. Did you know any of these actors?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember him very well. I did know one, I think Topher Grace, and he was on that 70s show. And I guess in 2001, maybe that was a really popular show. Mm-hmm. He ends up being Venom in one of the Spider-Man movies later, but I don't know. Maybe he's famous now. I don't know. There's a bunch of characters in there, though. Did you like Brad Pitt?
I don't know who he is.
Russ, the character who played Rusty. His best friend.
He was alright.
You don't think he's handsome?
He's alright.
He's like, sexiest man alive, for 15 years in a row. No?
Really?
Yeah, people love him. He's very popular. All right. Danny meets Russ, and they go off and they talk about the heist. And the heist is 3 casinos in Las Vegas. And while they're looking at blueprints of the Bellagio's vault. We haven't been to the Bellagio. We went to Las Vegas once, huh?
Yep.
Did you like Las Vegas?
It was fun, but it was really loud, and it was kind of scary.
Yeah, I believe it. The next step is that they go to a friend named Ruben, I guess that's his name, his house, for funding, and are turned down. So Ruben says, no, thank you. Reuben, out of interest, just being curious, asks what casinos, and after they name the casinos, he realizes those 3 casinos belong to Terry Benedict. Once he hears that, Reuben agrees, and they start the heist. Anything?
I think that I don't know.
You don't know, that's okay. Then the next thing we have a montage where we start recruitment. They pick up a bunch of characters. They pick up Frank, which was the dealer from Atlantic City that, I think it was Atlantic City, that Danny meets in the beginning. He moves over to Las Vegas. They pick up these 2 twins who are constantly fighting all the time. And then they pick up Limousin Dell, who's a surveillance expert, Basher, who's into explosives, the amazing Yen, who's an acrobat, and an old gentleman out in Florida named Saul, who's a con man. And they pick up one more character. His name is Linus, played by Matt Damon, who's actually a really famous actor now. And he seems to be really good at picking pockets.
I was the most scared for the old guy, Saul, because why is he in this heist with a bunch of young people? It's not the good old days anymore, Saul.
Yeah, man. You thought he wasn't going to be able to hang with all these people?
Yeah. And plus, he looked already well off, so why does he need money? He's going to die soon anyways.
He wasn't that old. I mean, maybe kind of old. But
the whole time he was taking pills.
Yeah, he was like taking antacids. He had like stomach ulcers. Ulcers, that's what he said.
What's an ulcer?
I don't know. Something to do with your belly, though. We'll have to look it up. So the cast of characters meet up over at Reuben's house, and they go over these impossible plans to steal $150 million from these 3 casinos, which all the money goes into the Bellagio vault. Yeah, that sounds good. Are you excited about $150 million?
Yeah.
115, there's 11 characters. That's why the movie's called Ocean's 11. Danny, Ocean's the main character. Then he has 11 people who are all into it.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, I was wondering if you did or not. All right, the pre-work begins. Livingston taps into the casino surveillance. Basher prepares to kill the power that night that they're going to do the heist. An exact replica of the vault is built into the warehouse that they're using as a base of operations on the Las Vegas Strip. And Linus's job is to follow Terry Benedict all around everywhere to figure out how and when he's going to steal codes that Benedict only has to get into the vault. And then comes Tess, Julia Roberts' character. Okay, so it looks like you have something to say about her.
Well, the whole romance of this is so skewed because she's obviously with someone else. So why is he even trying to be with her?
He loves her. People do crazy things for love.
Yeah, but she's obviously not having it. She's all like, I sold my wedding ring and I hate you.
Well, we haven't got to that part yet, but yeah, you're right. She does kind of get mad at him. Russ finds out from Linus that Tess is part of it and gets a little bit upset and says, make sure that we're focusing on the heist and not on you trying to get Tess back.
Yeah, I would be too, because getting Tess back is stupid.
Yeah, you're against it, huh? Did you like Julia Roberts?
She was alright.
She's alright.
I didn't like her character, so I couldn't really. I guess she was a good actor for making me hate her.
Okay, you hate her? Oh my gosh.
Strongly dislike.
Next part of the plan, we have Saul in a very nice suit, pretends to be Zerga, Lyman Zerga, a high roller, like a multi-millionaire out from the European. And while he's gambling in the high roller table, he meets Terry Benedict. Zerga asks him if he can store some valuable jewels in his vault, and Terry Benedict agrees. Meanwhile, Danny Ocean meets Tess in a restaurant, and she is hostile. She is not happy to see him. And Terry Benedict comes, joins him at the restaurant. Danny Ocean leaves, and that whole time Linus is watching. You still hate her?
Yeah, I think that he needs to realize that she's with someone else and leave her alone because she's obviously not having it. So why is he still pushing?
No, I agree. The one line, and I love this line, he says, I got your divorce papers in the mail in jail. And she says, I told you I would write. That's a pretty good burn right there, right?
Yeah.
It's a good burn. All right. Next part, Basher says the electrical won't work anymore because they had like a big problem. And they would have to come up with an alternate plan to to steal a pinch, which is like an EMP, electromagnetic pulse bomb. It's not a real bomb, but it cuts the electricity around. So, but they have to go steal it. So they go into a laboratory, steal the EMP bomb, the pinch, and the amazing Yen hurts his hand because Linus gets impatient and he goes out to try to save the day, I guess. I don't know what happens. They're very mad at Linus for doing that. Once they get back, Livingston tells everyone that Danny is on the red flag list because Terry Benedict put him on there because he was talking to his wife. Or
like, not talking, like being rude, and I would put him on the red flag list too because he has only bad intentions.
And they say that D.O. or Danny Ocean heads out of the heist and everybody freaks out and that Linus will be taking over. Did you think that actually was going to happen? Do you think that Danny Ocean was not going to be part of the heist after that?
No, definitely not.
So you didn't fall for it?
No.
Seems like you're very smart. I fell for it the first time I saw it 21 years ago, I guess.
Well, like, the whole name of this thing is Ocean's 11, so obviously he's still the main character. They can't just kick him out less than halfway through the movie.
Now, don't lie to me, because I know you may have not thought that. Well, there are a bunch of little tricks that the movie does try to make you fall for. So I want you to be honest to tell me if you actually... I know you're smarter than me, but still, I think you would have fallen for some of those things.
Yeah, but that one was a little obvious that it wasn't going to be. Because the name of the show is Ocean's 11, and he's the main star. And yeah, why would they just kick him out? That doesn't seem like it would be good for the naming. They would have just called it something about a heist, not about himself.
Right. But that was the... Oh, yeah, you're right. Showtime. It's the day of the heist. Zerga gives Terry Benedict the jewels, which later we find out are explosives. Linus acts like the Nevada Gaming Commission, comes in and rats out Frank, who is pretending to be someone else, because Frank, the character from the beginning, is an ex-con, and in the process steals the codes from Terry Benedict. Danny Ocean is caught in the hotel, because I guess he didn't care about being red flag, went to the hotel, talks to Tess for a minute, who's very angry, and then they take him into a room with no cameras, no windows, nothing, just to beat the life out of him. And the last thing that happens is the twins come in with a cart, and inside the cart isn't money or jewels. It is the amazing Yen, who is not only an acrobat, but a contortionist, I guess. And then he is placed inside the vault as well.
That must have been quite uncomfortable.
He only had 30 minutes of air, so he's lucky that he didn't die in there.
That's very unrealistic, I think.
Yeah, maybe. You never know how long it's going to take. All right. Next scene, Zerga is in the vault security area, and he watches as his jewels are put into the vault. But then he collapses, and I say this in quotation marks, causing a distraction. And during that time, Livingston, the surveillance guy, changes the surveillance over and takes control of their cameras.
This was when I was actually concerned for Saul, because he was already taking pills and he was already really old, so I was like, oh no, he's gonna die.
There was a couple scenes earlier where you see him like holding his stomach or like acting like faint, and I don't know if he was just getting into character or if he really felt that way.
That one I definitely
did fall for.
Yeah. I was so scared for him. I was like, wait, but what about the rest of them?
Yeah, like the grandpa, right? Like you're worried about him. All right. Then they take Danny Ocean. They take him into that room, and a big, gigantic guy comes in named Bruiser. So punches him right into the face. I also worried about that. But then they hug each other. It seems that Danny Ocean knows Bruiser, and Bruiser's in on the heist, I guess. Maybe it's Ocean's 12, and maybe Bruiser should count.
How much did they ever say if he was getting any of the profits?
He did. He said it was worth a couple millions that they paid or something like that. So, but maybe he didn't get it evenly, but he gave some from Danny's, his cut. So he helps him get into the ceiling. He goes into like the vents up in the air. And then when Linus, who now has the code, goes into the elevator, jumps into the elevator shaft. Danny Ocean is waiting for him there. Linus freaks out. He's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, this was part of the plan the whole time. And Linus is super mad that, why didn't you just tell me? Why did you have to put me through this? And I think it was the two older guys messing with a young guy kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Zerga dies. Once again, I say in quotation marks because Saul is just pretending.
But also, one thing about this was, did they not have internet at this time? Because couldn't they just search up who Zerga was? Like, he was already skeptical. Don't you think he would have made, like, a second check or something to make sure before he put, like, gems in their super top secret
He did. There was that
vault?
one scene where he asked the bodyguard about him. What have you heard about him? He said he comes from old money, and so there was like underground information. So these guys were like underground. So even the internet, I think the internet was around in 2001. Of course it was, but it's the underground, right? You're not going to look up the internet and find out people are selling weapons and drugs and stuff. It won't show up on their Facebook. You know what I mean?
No, but you can look up who is Zerga blah blah blah, and then you realize that he's not real.
That's true. I mean, you're right. So Zerga dies, and then the doctor comes in, and that's when you realize he's not really dead, because the doctor is Rusty, Brad Pitt's character, and he says that he died, and the paramedics happen to be the twins that are coming around helping him, and they take him away. No. Basher blows the pinch, and Danny and Linus get into the front of the vault. They go down the elevator shaft, kind of like because they had lasers, and that's why they took the electricity.
Also, I have a whole question about that. In all the like heist movies, the lasers, you can always see them flashing, like the red lasers. Wouldn't it be more effective if they made the lasers like invisible? Because then they wouldn't expect it and they'd walk into it. Or even make half of them invisible and then half of them visible. Because then they can try to sneak past and then they'll like actually get led into the other lasers. It just doesn't seem realistic that they would have them all showing.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, if it's a laser, doesn't it not show at all? Isn't it you need smoke or something like that for you to see it? And then maybe it's movies. I don't know.
Well, in like laser tag or like
you don't see the laser.
Maze.
You barely see the laser.
But you see it.
But there's fog all around.
That's true.
Yeah, there's fog everywhere. So.
Yeah, but it just seems unrealistic that you could see the lasers themselves, because that would defeat some of the maybe it's to just scare them off.
Yeah. Well, they knew there were lasers there. That's why they did the whole electrical thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, if you want to put lasers, you don't want to tell everybody, hey, there's lasers here.
Yeah.
I keep it a secret. All right, so Basher blows the pinch. We said that. Danny Ocean and Linus go down the elevator shaft, get to the front of the vault. The amazing Yen does some amazing tricks and comes out of the box, barely saving the jewels that actually almost hit the floor. Does a backflip onto a section of the vault and puts the jewels on the inside of the vault. So we end up seeing that they're explosives. They blow up the vault, almost blow up Yen, because unfortunately Yen's hand gets stuck in the vault because it's all bandaged up from the mini heist from earlier where they got hurt. And then they come into the vault and start putting all the money into the bags. Rich, $150 million. Which ends up being what? Well, I think it was $161 million at the end.
Yeah.
Because they had that much money. All right. At this point, Russ calls Tess on a cell phone planted by Danny Ocean earlier when he met her, and starts to talk to Terry Benedict. The one line in this line, I don't know if you picked up on it, and I thought about you. He says, pick up your phone, Terry Benedict does, and she's like, I don't have a cell phone. So, it's a different time. In 2001, she didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah, if someone says pick up your phone, they would be like, where's my phone? Who's calling?
Yeah, who's this? Why am I getting a phone call right now? Yeah, and they wouldn't be calling, they'd be texting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when she
we have come into your vault.
Yeah. So they tell them to let them escape from the vault. And if they let them escape, what they're going to do is they're only going to take half the money, leave $80 million in the vault, and then they're going to booby trap the money, and then they're going to take off with the other $80 million. And if there's any problems, both of the money is all booby trapped with a bomb, and it's going to explode. Did you believe that was actually going to happen?
I did believe that they would explode something, but they wouldn't explode their half. I feel like they would hide it somewhere, and then the person would be exploding, like, oh no, all the money's exploded, but half of it, it's still good. Terry
Benedict agrees, but then he calls the SWAT team. But then he changes his mind, attacks the van explodes, the vault explodes, and they realize that neither the vault nor the van had any money. They just had flyers and things like that.
This one I was confused about because I was like, where's all the money?
Where's all the money? And that's funny because the security guard said, well, where did all the money go? And then they show us what actually happened to the money. The SWAT team was none other than
Ocean's 11.
The cast of characters. They were all dressed up in the SWAT uniform. As they walked out, they took all of the money without them even having an idea that their money was being stolen by
that one I did fall for.
Yeah, I love that because there's a scene of Saul going down the elevator shaft as well, which I'm like, why did you get the old guy to involve? The poor guy was like struggling to come down, but they were able to get him in there.
I was more excited that he was still alive.
Yes. He's back from the dead. All right, next scene, Danny Ocean. And this is the part that maybe you're not going to be happy about. Danny Ocean goes back into that room where he was supposed to be hiding the whole time. He's getting punched in the face a whole bunch by Bruiser. And then they are letting him go. Or they're calling the police and throwing him in jail. And Danny says, what if I know how to get your money back? Terry Benedict said, I'll do anything. He said, would you give up Tess? Terry Benedict says, yes. And during that time, Tess is watching the whole interaction on a TV in a hotel room.
Tess can't get a break from these evil people. Like, you have been fighting against this one guy who can't take a hint and it keeps bothering you. And then the guy you're actually, like, turning him down for drops you like a hot potato.
Yeah, it kind of does suck for her. You're right. Danny Ocean says, I know a guy. Terry Benedict says, get out of here. They arrest Danny Ocean for parole violation, and then he goes to jail. Last scene of the movie, 3 to 6 months later, Rusty is waiting for Danny to come out of jail. They walk out together. Danny says, where are they? Which we'll find out later. It happens to be Terry Benedict's guards are talking about, who's actually chasing him. And as he gets into the car, who does he see? He sees
Tess.
Natalie's favorite character, Tess. They end up together, kissing each other. Maybe they love each other now.
Tess magically forgets all the crap she was talking and comes crawling back to Mr. Ocean.
I know, that's true.
Like a spineless human being.
I know, she was so angry in the earlier movies with all those burns that she was giving him. And then the other burn was like, does he make you laugh? And she says, he doesn't make me cry. Which was like a pretty good burn because it's saying that Danny Ocean made her cry.
But it's just so annoying because, like, if you're going to say so much bad stuff, you can't just be like, oh, I've been dropped by some other person. I guess I'll go back to my old ex. That's, like, not very good human skills.
That's true. As they drive away, you see Terry Benedict's bodyguards tailing them, watching them drive away. They're not even hiding the fact. And the movie ends, kind of leaving it open for a sequel, because Terry Benedict's a pretty crazy guy. So, the end. Best PG-13 movie ever.
Not.
All right. So, what do you think, Nat? Do you think this movie could still be made today?
Well, I think that it could overall be still made today, but there'd definitely be a few lines and scenes that would not be there anymore.
And give me some examples.
So, first of all, when they're introducing the Malloy brothers, one of them, as, like, an insult, because they're, like, fighting, calls the other a girl as, like, an insult, which I can hear the feminists screaming in the background.
Okay, I agree.
Which I feel like they wouldn't put that in today, because too many people would be like, why are they using girl as an insult? They're so sexist and all of that.
Sure,
so I
sense.
don't think that would be in there. When they describe the amazing yen to each other in the very beginning, again, when they're introducing them all, they call him the little Chinese guy, which would definitely not be in there today.
You're right. It seems kind of racist, doesn't it?
And lastly, very small and very minuscule, but like when they're talking to Saul, they're watching a dog race as entertainment, and I don't think they would. Dog races aren't very common anymore because it's like animal cruelty and all of that. So, that very little thing I doubt would be in there anymore. It would probably be like a baseball game or something.
That's true. That's true. Anything else? How about the Julia Roberts character? How about Tess? Do you think?
I think that
they didn't make her a very strong woman.
Yeah, they made her very like oh, I need this guy, and then as soon as he's gone, I need another guy. Like, she had no recovery. She didn't stick to her words. She couldn't do anything without having someone else, which would definitely not view that today. Now it's all like, strong, independent woman needs no man, all that. I really doubt it. And even if she was, they wouldn't, I don't think in the movie, if she was still like that, I feel like the Danny Ocean that would happen in our generation would be like, now you didn't want me then, you can't have me now. I feel like that would be more of a story where he kind of like rejects her in the end. I feel like he wouldn't be like, oh, you're so weak and you came crawling back. Okay, let's be besties now.
That's true, maybe. Also, the only, for the plot-wise, she didn't have much of anything other than kind of pushing... No, actually nothing, right? The only thing she did was hold a cell phone, sadly, right?
Yeah, all she did was come crawling back to him and get dumped like 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. Well, just once.
And she was the only woman in the movie, so I doubt that would be...
That was it, huh? There were no other women?
No. Maybe some like workers in the background.
The ladies who were bringing the drinks, that's about it?
Yeah, I think that there would definitely be some other woman, or maybe in the 11 itself, there would probably be a woman woman helper inside the whole team. Mm-hmm. I doubt it would just be an all 11 male team.
Ocean's 8 is an all woman team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's with Danny Ocean's sister, played by Sandra Bullock, if I remember properly. I did see the movie once. It was pretty good. I always liked the first Ocean's 11. I don't even like 12 and 13 as much either.
I feel like that movie is just kind of like, oh man, we have no women. We need to just fix things real quick, make their own sequel. Why does it need to be a sequel and not in the
same universe?
The same movie itself.
Yeah.
Like, they need to be separated in that time.
Yeah, that might be true. Well, I'm sorry you didn't like it that much, but now in retrospect, with the whole, there's only one character that's a woman, and then she was a weak character, I can see how that would probably turn you off a bit.
I think it would have been good if there wasn't all this romance stuff that seemed so very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Even the characters in the movie were angry about it.
Yeah, they were. Linus was super angry, and so was Rusty, so.
If even the characters in the movie don't like it, that's saying something.
Right, she should, yeah, you're right. Well, thanks for watching this movie with me. You ready?
Yes.
Alright, thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We usually put out an episode every week.
Next time, we're going to be watching Pitch Perfect! Yay!
So this is on the list of movies that I like, but Natalie was a little upset that all the movies that I like, she thinks are not going to be good, and has been wanting to watch Pitch Perfect for a long time, which is a really good movie, so I'm happy to watch it. I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.